Fearscape Media Network, exploring the unknown, one podcast at a time. Fearscape Paranormal Podcast, part of the Fearscape Media Network. Prepare to be spooked. New episodes every Wednesday on all major podcast platforms. Find out more at fearscapepodcast.com. Good evening, dear friends. Welcome to the Misters of the Dark Halloween Kills Halloween special. Here are your hosts, the Misters themselves, Lord Stefan Gearhart and the man with no name, Lance Wade.
Happy Halloween, everyone!
Yes! Happy Halloween! It's like Christmas to us! We are so happy to be with you here tonight. We are beaming directly to you from nowhere, a suburb of parts unknown, before a live studio audience.
That's right, Stefan.
We have a jam-packed night of thrills, chills, and spills just for you.
That's right, Stefan.
So, without any further ado, let's bring out our first guest, the Queen of Scream herself, Jamie Lee.
Stefan, she isn't here.
Say what?
Yeah, we couldn't get a hold of her.
Oh, you little bastard. Okay, well, no bother, dear friends. Let's then welcome the man who none of us would be here tonight without, the master of horror himself, John Carpenter.
Funny story. He isn't here either.
What? You couldn't get a hold of him either? I gave you his phone number.
Oh, I did, but he just laughed at me for an hour and hung up the phone.
As we all do. Oh, well, anyways, I guess let's just get right to the nitty gritty and just give our review of the latest installment of the Halloween franchise, 2021's Halloween Kills.
That's right, Stefan.
Shut up, Lance. Let's talk about this movie. Spoiler alert, okay? We're going to ruin it for you. Or if you watched it, it may have ruined it for you, depending on where you stand. Depending on where you stand on the film.
Wow, I am curious. See, I was thinking today, I was like, Halloween Kills, it didn't kill me as much as it just made me very indifferent.
Yeah, very indifferent as well. I even did a poll on our Twitter page to see what people thought of it here. And it's still going on, so you can still go to MOTD podcast on our Twitter there. But right now, the poll was, how did you feel about the new Halloween Kills movie? We've got loved it, hated it, meh, or there's a new Halloween. Surprisingly, 58.3% have said they loved it. 16.7% hated it. 25% had just said meh, and no one said there's a new Halloween, which is good, because if they're following us and you said that, I would have been super mad.
Yeah, that was one thing I was looking forward to also with the release of this film. I thought, okay, now I don't have to update people on the fucking Facebook page about Halloween Kills news. I can finally, but no, get this. All I'm doing now is fucking updating people on the fucking sequel.
Yeah, I know. Well, and that's before we even get into the movie. This was from the get-go when they retconned Halloween, which, by the way, before I even talk about this, what is with the new trend of having a sequel to something and just calling it the exact same thing?
I thought the same thing.
So we got Halloween, right? Now, if it's a remake, I get it, but this is a sequel. So to 2018's Halloween, was a sequel to the first movie completely foregoing all the rest of the sequels. So therefore, since we don't get Halloween 2, we lost the fact that Laurie and Michael were brother and sister, right? So that's fine. They got rid of that, which I think was dumb because that was one of the most compelling pieces of the franchise to me.
And I will agree. We are both in okay.
Because without it, it doesn't make any sense, but whatever.
Yes. And this fucking film tried to,
right.
failed miserably.
So, but anyways, so they call it Halloween. So the sequel to Halloween was Halloween. At least Superman had the goddamn nerve to at least say Superman Returns. Like
that's exactly what I was thinking.
But look, the new Scream 5, called Scream.
Yes. Oh my God. Group 9.
Yeah. What's going on, man?
The exact same thing. Yeah. Just call it Returns.
Like I know what they're doing is they're trying to look at it as like a soft reboot, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I get that. These aren't the only two examples. I can't think of any other at the moment, but there are other ones as well where they're doing these soft reboot / sequels and they're just calling it the same. Why not? Why?
I don't know.
I mean, if you're saying it's part of continuity, because all it's going to do is like, guess what? When I go to look up the Halloween movie, I get 3 that come up now.
Yeah. The only thing I can think that is just because they've literally called all the other Halloween sequels almost everything else you can fucking call it. We've had 2 Halloween 2s.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers, Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. You know what I mean?
At least I can understand if like, let's say, for example, if they were to do a sequel to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, maybe, because the original movie was called The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, right?
Yeah.
Like if they were to drop that and it's just called Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like that, I've seen that. I'm a little more okay with that because at least it's a hair different, if you're doing a sequel, but like, yeah, this is weird. So I just wanted to throw that out there before we.
It's something. I believe me, dude. I was thinking the same exact thing.
Thank you. Okay, good.
If they come out with a Nightmare on Elm Street sequel like this, I think I would love if they've just called it Another Nightmare on Elm Street.
Right. I'd be okay with that. That'd be even better. At least like I Know What You Did Last Summer was like, I still know what you did last summer.
Yeah.
Well,
and then sometimes they come back. The sequel. Sometimes they come back again.
And then there's a third one too. It's sometimes they still come back or something like that.
Yeah.
Something. Yeah. So yeah, give me some play there because obviously there are names because here's the sequel to the soft reboot there is called Halloween Kills, right? So this is all done by director David Gordon Green. This is his masterpiece trilogy. For when this was first being talked about, this was the trilogy to essentially wrap up Michael Myers in the continuity that existed because at this point, dude's 75 years old.
Yeah, and oh God, I don't know. Listen, here, you went on your tangent.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go on mine. And I know you've heard me say this before. Something that drives. Listen, and this might. I don't think it will blow many people's minds because I doubt a lot of people care. But Michael Myers, I listen. I'm like every other horror junkie nerd out there in the world. The first Halloween is a classic to me. It's a masterpiece. Chef's kiss. I love it. Blah 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 blah. But Michael Myers, like out of all of the slashers, horror characters, whatever you want to call them, he has always been the least interesting to me.
Mm-hmm. Well, because he has no motivation. Like they have literally just tried to say he's pure evil, which is why I liked the whole Laurie being his sister, because at least there was some sort of motivation of, ooh, I left a family member. I still got to get my other sister, right?
Yeah, and that is what I have never, and I'll go into this more towards the end of our review or whatever. But something that drives me crazy and like I said, I've probably brought this up to you before, is when people say, I think Michael Myers is the scariest of all the slashers because he's more believable. Michael Myers has been set on fire.
Hell, he got shot in the head.
He got shot. He's been blown up,
decapitated.
Stefan, how is that any different from any?
No, I mean, at least Jason, Jason, they try to be like, oh, well, he's, been, electrocuted or whatever. And that changed his blah, 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 blah. But yeah, Michael, especially now if we're retconning this, he's just human, right? Which makes no sense. So to be perfectly honest, the only one that really fits the bill of absolute real is Leatherface.
Exactly. I feel like that, and I guess that's one reason I can never, because I like most of the sequels. I think 4 and 3. I like 3.
And I love H2O. I mean, there's a number of love Halloween 3. I know it's not Mike Myers, but
same here. I think they're fun. But the only reason I feel like people that aren't really into horror, I feel like they think, oh well, Halloween's legitimate. Out of all of the other, the Nightmare on Elm Street, the Jasons, they're all schlock. But the Halloween franchise is legitimate because it has Jamie Lee Curtis in some of them.
Right. Yeah. Friday the 13th has Kevin Bacon, y'all.
And like I said, let's just go into the review.
Yeah.
At the end of it.
All right. So, anyways, this was when it was pushed to Universal, I believe is who owns him.
Yes.
When it was pushed, he basically said, I'm going to film these back to back to back. And the last film is going to be Halloween Ends, which we'll briefly talk about. And they're going to kill off Michael Myers. Again, like I said, makes sense if they're playing him as human. Dude's 75 years old at this point.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I get that. I'm okay with that. Let writers remake and go from there. That's fine.
Yeah. It's not going to be the end.
No.
Spoiler alert. It's not going to be the fucking end.
No. But in terms of this continuity, it's wrapping up. This new retconned continuity anyways. Because even H2O at the end, his head got cut off, but then you find out in Resurrection that it was like the fucking EMT guy. He put the mask on him or some shit. But anyway, so this was filmed back to back to back. And then the pandemic actually delayed this film. I think I'm not sure if they're still finishing up Halloween Ends or not, or if it's just in post-production. But don't even believe it started, because one of the fucking things I had to post on the Misters of the Dark Facebook page, like everybody, was that they are waiting the approval of John Carpenter on the script. Gotcha. So it was all supposed to be filmed back to back to back. So the script is written, it kind of reminds me of Back to the Future 2 and 3, right? Yeah. And they were supposed to come out about a year and a half, 2 years apart from each other, but then the pandemic slowed everything down. And that's okay. And then a lot of, this also got put on Peacock, which was interesting, but that's okay. It's whatever.
Or as Jim Cornette calls it, the cack.
So this had a budget of 20 million, and at this point, it's already pulled in 64.4 million, which of course they knew it would. I mean, Halloween did great, and I just want to say again, 2018's Halloween, I absolutely loved. If they would have just let the series be done right there, I'd have been fine. With Laurie having the fucking serial killer trap house, all that, I'd have been totally fine with it. It was dark and serious.
That's another thing with the Halloween franchise. It's just like, man, fucking how... Oh, this is like the third reboot in the fucking franchise. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, but I grow a little disenfranchised after a while. And I thought 2018 was good. I thought it was solid. I wasn't, some people acted like it was a fucking second coming.
Yes, they did. Yes,
yeah,
they did.
but I thought it was all right. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. It was all right. It was odd because we had already seen the return of Jamie Lee Curtis and H2O, so it was weird. But yeah, whatever. It's okay. I enjoyed it. It was dark and serious. I know that's kind of like the thing right now is dark and serious, which is what makes Halloween Kills so weird. Is it's written by the same people, directed by the same guy, and it's a completely different style. Yeah. So if you're going into this film expecting it to be dark like 2018's Halloween, it's not. It feels like a campy 80s slasher.
Really?
film.
Okay, so you feel that way. Because see, some of the things I got, I was, after it came out, some of the reviews I was seeing were people saying it's either a piece of shit or a camp classic. Yeah. So you thought it was, so you feel, I see.
Once I decided it was going to be another campy Halloween movie, I was okay with it and I had fun. I think, and there's a part of me that's wondering if that was on purpose, because the first one was dark, just like the original one was. Once we get to the sequels, they get a little campy, right? And so it much like how the sequel trilogy to Star Wars kind of mimicked Star Wars and then mimicked Empire Strikes Back, mimicked Return of the Jedi. I'm wondering if there is a same thing happening here, that he is in a sense kind of mimicking, because what did we see in there, and we'll get to, was an homage to Halloween 3. Yeah. Right. So I'm wondering if he played on that idea of what sequels tend to be like. Right?
You want my honest opinion?
Yeah.
We're on this show, so I'm not gonna lie to you. Unless they want to throw some fucking money our way, I'll say Halloween Kills is the fucking Citizen. It is Citizen Kane, anyway. But no, I feel like this, and I feel like this is done with a lot of franchises, mostly in the horror genre, but. I'll relate it to the It franchise. It Part 1 came out, and I'm sure it had a big budget, but it was such a great film. I mean, one of my favorite films.
Agreed.
Period.
I love it. Chapter 1. Yeah.
It 2 came out. It Part 1 made a shitload of money. Just a ton. Critically acclaimed, blah, blah, blah. It 2 came out, and I feel like with some of these franchises where you say, okay, we're going to give you, a limited amount of money, and then you can do your Part 2 or Part 3. And I almost feel like they're like, we know this is going to make money, but we don't fully trust it. So here's some for Part 1, and we'll see how it goes from there.
Yep.
And when It Chapter 2 came out, and I like It Chapter 2, I thought it was a fun film.
Same.
I didn't like it as much as the first film, but they were just like, oh my God, Part 1 made, here you go. Here, just take it. And it was fucking over the top. Do you understand?
No, I 100%. And I'm going to back you up by saying, the initial budget for 2018's Halloween was $10 million.
Okay.
It made $255 million. Yeah. The budget for Halloween Kills was double. It was $20 million.
Yeah. See, there you go.
And when you have extra money, you're like, well, what do we do with it? Exactly. I don't know. Let's hire 400 extras.
Yeah. Evil dies tonight, Stefan.
Evil dies tonight.
Evil dies tonight. I don't know if you were aware of that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And it's like, let's get the original actors from the original movie that played the kids and the nurse, except for Tommy Doyle. Let's go ahead and make him Anthony Michael Hall because we need him Irish as fuck. So, anyways, we haven't even talked about the movie yet.
We haven't. Oh my God.
One of the strange parts about this movie were all the flashbacks. The flashbacks set you up to make you think it's going to be a dark film, and this is where I think it didn't know what to do with itself. It set itself up to be real dark. So the movie starts with. Give me a second here. I got to go back to Halloween 2 here. So the movie starts kind of at the very end of the last movie.
Yeah.
After being stabbed and left to die by Dr. Sartain, the new Mike Myers doctor after Loomis gave up on it. Deputy Frank Hawkins is found by Cameron Elam, which is what's her name's boyfriend.
Yeah,
Hawkins,
which I wrote in my notes. I say he may suck as a boyfriend, but at least he'll help a stranger out.
Yes, he will.
So good on you.
And good on him wearing that skirt through the whole movie.
Skirts are quite comfortable. I've done drag.
And again, I mean, I just want to say this again. Spoiler, we're going to talk about this whole fucking movie. If you have not seen this yet, turn it off if you're weirded out by that. But anyways, so Hawkins kind of wakes up, and then he has his flashback to 40 years earlier during the search for Mike Myers following escape. So basically what this is doing is saying, hey, Halloween 2 didn't happen. Here's what actually happened. Yeah, so instead of going to the hospital,
even though they use fucking scenes,
I know,
of Halloween 2,
I know. Yes, they did, but they basically were saying that Michael just disappeared and nobody knew where he was. So they're looking for him after Loomis kills him, and then Hawkins and him decide, let's go to the old Myers house. And they go upstairs and they're talking about this window, which becomes the central theme for Mike Myers, blah, 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 trying to shove fucking philosophical bullshit into a movie. And so Mike Myers shows up, grabs his partner, and Hawkins, who apparently never learned how to fire a gun, shoots.
Yes. Wait. You'll appreciate this. I even wrote in my notes, Hawkins could be a stormtrooper.
Oh, God. I mean, shoots his partner right in the neck.
Oh, my God.
And let me tell you, Mike Myers is like 7 feet tall, okay? This guy is like 5'2". I mean, it's not like there was only like 4 inches to shoot at. I mean, Mike Myers is just standing there. And at this point, he's just a human, right? Like, even though Loomis has shot him. Like, so he shoots his buddy in the neck. And Mike Myers is like, well, you just did that for me, and drops him and just stands there. And Hawkins just doesn't do anything. Oh my God. And kills his partner trying to save him from Mike Myers. This prevents Loomis from killing him outside, like resolving to kill him in the present now because he should have done it in the past.
I will give them that. Because I even wrote in my notes, whoa, how did they get Donald Pleasance? Have you looked at that? That was makeup.
Yeah, the actor that did that, brilliant. There's a different guy that does the voice, because he's a voice actor that does impressions. But between the makeup on the guy and the voiceover work, I thought it was Dr. Loomis too. I was like, for like a minute, I'm like, is this a cutscene? Like,
yeah. I mean, it beats the hell out of that Star Wars CGI.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, I thought it was really well done.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was really well done too. And
also because you don't know it at this point that he stops.
Right. Yeah. You don't know that he prevents it.
But I did think that was a really powerful scene. The cops cornering Michael Myers.
Well, again, knowing the rest of the movie, this was foreshadowing. Having Michael in the center, surrounded by people.
Yeah, but I did think that because we're so used to seeing Michael Myers, he just blah blah blah, he just rampages and hides. And
yeah.
We never see him really contained.
Yep.
For the most part.
So then we've got we hook back up with Tommy Doyle. So we get Tommy Doyle, which from the trailer we all knew it was Tommy Doyle. This was the kid that Laurie babysat, and is played by Anthony Michael Hall. Now, for the script that is there, Anthony Michael Hall was perfect. He played obnoxious Irish guy.
Yep.
Like, he was perfect. I mean, he was absolutely perfect.
Yeah, he pulled out a lot of things from his Edward Scissorhands.
for sure. But I was like, wait, is this set in Boston? Where's this at? Because he was playing obnoxious, like 40-year-old stereotypical Irish guy. But anyways, they're at the local bar celebrating the 40th anniversary of Michael's arrest and imprisonment. And they're there to commemorate the memory of his victims. And he's there with Marion Chambers, who is the nurse in the first movie, who Michael jumped on the car and tried to kill, but she got away. And it's the actual actress, same actress, as well as Lindsay Wallace, who was the other little girl that Laurie's friend was babysitting. Same actress as well.
What? I don't. Is that really?
Yeah, I looked it up. Same actress.
Okay.
It is. That's why I was surprised they got Anthony Michael Hall. Maybe the kid that played Tommy Doyle wasn't acting anymore, maybe, or they just wanted another name, I guess. I don't know. And then, of course, we had Cameron's dad, Lonnie Elam. So Cameron, of course, which is Laurie's granddaughter's boyfriend, who they have put in, was briefly encountered Michael in 1978. And then of course they toast Laurie. I don't know if where she was or what was going on. Obviously they don't know what's going on in the last movie.
Well, and I fucking that Anthony Michael Hall fucking monologue. I even wrote, I said that could have been cut a little fucking short.
Oh, especially because it's like the talent show, and obviously they do it every year, and you're gonna get up there and just give that monologue. It just felt out of place.
Yeah, it went. Well, I thought to a point it worked. I did. I really thought, but it just, you could have cut.
I could have had him do one sentence of that and then sing a fucking song or play the guitar, like, because here it's a talent show, so it's like you're just gonna get up there and read a news article, essentially. Like,
you know, robbing those fucking mermaids of their fucking time on stage,
right? And then we've gone from a dark movie.
Stefan doesn't want to talk about the mermaids.
I don't, because I want to get through this. Halloween Kills. So then we get back to Laurie's house where it's on fire. Laurie's leaving. She sees the ambulance. We see this in the trailer. She's like, "Let it fucking burn! Let it burn!
Yeah,
let it burn!" I love angry Jamie Lee Curtis. I love it. I love me some Jamie Lee Curtis when she's angry and old. I love it.
Well, she was the best part of the first film.
Oh, she's always the best part. Like Halloween H2O, she's amazing. Like,
but the first one, she turned full Sarah Connor.
Oh, for sure. And I'm actually a huge fan of Halloween 2. It's actually one of my favorites.
Me too. Same here.
I absolutely
love Halloween 2.
And I think she killed it in that too. But anyways, so we go, and then you see, like the firefighter falls through the floor where Michael was trapped. He gets killed. Next firefighter tries to help him out. He gets killed. Michael comes out, and then now it's turned into an 80s action movie.
Kinda, yeah. I gotta admit though, I even wrote House Burning. Loved it.
Yeah.
I thought this, because to me, this compared, and I mean, I know there's a scene later on in the film where it probably draws more of a comparison, but to me, Michael coming out with the firefighter sort of surrounding him, that called back to the police.
Right. This is what I'm saying. More foreshadowing.
Yeah.
More foreshadowing happened.
And I mean, if you even, like, and there was just, and it's, most people won't notice just because I'm a moron, but when Michael has that pole or whatever he has in his hand, or that fire poker,
the fire
whatever
thing, axe poker,
he slams it on his hand like, "I'm ready this time, motherfuckers," and he takes them all out.
Well, and that is something, Michael. What's something that's been interesting about this film that's different than most of the Michael Myers films is Michael Myers is not only has he been basically just a void, like most of the emotion you get from him is the head turn. He spoke a lot more with his body language in this movie. So kind of showing me he's a little more there than we realize. Him hitting it on his hand, because that's a sane person, not sane, but you know what I mean? A person that's critically thinking, okay, I'm gonna fuck you guys up. And so again, this is where I think that the writer did this on purpose, because there were a lot of sequel tropes that happened, and these big fight scenes are a sequel trope. And so here we are, we've got, instead of this silent killer who's killing here, there, one thing, we've got yet again another big thing where he's taking out 5 or 6 firefighters, which I agree. I thought it was awesome. Some of those kills were awesome. One where the camera was behind the firefighter's mask, and that shit was great. One of my favorite kills. It was badass. Plus the water flying, the guy that fucking sprayed him with water, I laughed. That's the moment. That's the moment I said, okay, this is going to be more campy than I realized. And I was like, I'm just going to have fun. Because the guy sprayed him with water, which, by the way, fire hoses would have knocked his ass out. But whatever, I was like, okay, it's still funny.
I thought the same thing.
I still thought it was funny though. It was a pretty sick scene. I mean, it was fucking grimy, dude. It reminded me of like those old kung fu fucking movies where just parts going everywhere.
You've heard of the pension going around, right? You haven't heard? Oh my god. Some firefighter is there's a pension going around where he didn't like that scene. he thought it disrespected the firefighters.
Well, duh. It's like anytime, it's like if a bad guy takes a cop's gun and shoots him, should a cop be like, we can't have that?
Yeah, I know. I just said that's been a big. I am surprised you have not come across that.
No, I'm surprised too. But anyways, so then we cut back to Laurie and her daughter and her granddaughter, arriving at Haddonfield Memorial Hospital, which to me is funny because, again, here's the sequel. And the sequel that got retconned, that got took away, happened in the hospital. We're in the hospital. So, which I thought was funny. Laurie undergoes her emergency surgery.
I even wrote, literally, what is the, I have house burning, loved it, where Michael's just butchering these firefighters. But then I have gross surgery stuff.
Yeah, it was like, I couldn't either. I was like, ugh.
I know, I can't handle that for some reason.
But one of the things that I like about this movie is this is me surmising that he's going for the sequel, the second, because there's a lot of twos. So couples are a big thing in this. Okay. And so here we get to our first real couple, which of course we missed out a little bit, which was one of my favorite couples, which was the nurse and doctor at the bar, right? The couple that where she's like, yeah, I'm a doctor and he's a nurse, and they were playing in reverse. They're funny. I like them. But the second couple is my favorite couple, which is the old couple. So my favorite couple that I was talking about is Phil and Sandra. Okay, the older couple. Now, Sandra was in the first movie. She was the caretaker, the neighbor of Laurie Strode and them. And so it's kind of interesting to see that character come back. You see her married to Phil, played by Lenny, what's his name? Guy that always plays a big lunk in everything that he's in. But this scene cracked me up. Again, we're heading towards hilarity, right? This kind of black comedy where you've got this older couple, like she's got like a little drone that she's flying around, like,
yeah. See,
they're just being goofy.
I don't know. I found this entire, even though the kills, I even have it written down. The kills are brutal, and they're cool or whatever. I found this whole part of the film completely unnecessary.
Oh, 100%. Like, I don't know if it was just because we had introduced her in the last movie as the caretaker. And so, like, they were like, oh, well, she's next door. Let's do something with her. or what, or this was his way of saying, hey, here's some funny stuff that we can do to make the kills feel more brutal because we just laughed. I don't know. But what it did for me is it made me laugh at first, when what I was hoping for was a little more along the lines of Nightbreed, that first kill with the family, if you'll recall. It had some of the same feeling to it, with the exception of how goofy they were. But that's relationships nowadays. That's how movies and TV are. It's okay. I got that. But yeah, it was odd. But yeah, it did seem unnecessary. It almost felt like filler, because the runtime's only 105 minutes. So we're just over an hour and a half. We're an hour and 45 minutes. So it almost felt like they didn't have anything to cut. So they were like, all right, well, let's keep this big long scene in. Unless the whole thing is to set up that he's just pure evil. Like he's just heading next door just to kill somebody else. So, but again, couples, right? Here's twos. He's killing people in twos.
That's something I didn't pick up on. I don't know if it's clever, but it's something I didn't pick up on.
So Sandra and Phil, they end up dying very brutally. It was pretty crazy.
Oh my God. Pretty brutally. That is an understatement. I mean, I will say these are probably...
It was a weird moment, because he's killing, Phil's dead, but yet he's still he just keeps grabbing a knife, stabs him, grabs a knife, stabs him, grabs a knife, while Sandra's still alive watching this. And it was just odd, because then here's this guy who just a few minutes ago we felt was a little bit more of a critical thinker, now seems like a child, right? Because
I don't know.
A sick, deranged child, obviously, but he's just grabbing knives and stabbing. After he's dead, it just felt weird. I think one stab would have been okay, because it felt goofy. I was laughing. It made me laugh.
You can't. That's one thing and I'll get more into it towards the end, but you can't really look at this film critically. You know what I mean? You can't give it any real critical thinking. It just kind of is what it is. Mm-hmm. But let's continue.
So then at that point, and you got the weird bar owner, because we're back at the bar, and so you got the weird bar owner who can't talk very well. I don't know if he was like a cameo or if he was anything. It was really hard to understand him. So I don't know. I don't remember if there was a bar in the first movie or not. Was this like a shout out to that? I'm not sure. But anyway, so you got Vanessa and Marcus, right? Who are there. That's that the doctor nurse couple. And they decide they're going to go after buying a shots for, the trio of doom.
After they fucking insulted them.
Right. And of course, the bartender's this is my bat. This is a bat that if Mike Myers ever comes in my mind, I'm going to give him the bat.
If he ever shows up, I'm going to beat him to death with his bat.
I don't remember what it said on it. Old Huckleberry or something.
Huckleberry, something
old Huckleberry.
Yeah, am I thinking of Pulp Fiction now? I don't know.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, so on the news, it pops up that that newscast of all the killings that took place. So Tommy and Marianne, Lindsay and Lonnie, they go out because Vanessa goes out to her car. Vanessa and Marcus go out to, and somebody's in the back seat. And already I'm like, dude, do not be leaving your girl to go to that car by herself just because you forgot the freaking stethoscope. But so at this point too, I think that one of the newscasts had shown that two people had also escaped from the mental asylum. And so already there's a red herring. And I didn't know if the red herring was for us or for the people in the movie. But it gets explained later. There's a reason.
Listen, don't give this film any don't.
So anyway, so she supposedly encounters Michael in the backseat of her car. So they run in, and then Tommy goes into.
No, you're forgetting the line, because I did write this down because I did love this line. She runs up to her husband or whatever, and she says, "Go look. I think Michael's in the back of her car."
Oh yeah.
He says, "Go look." Hell no.
Yep.
That is the most honest response in any horror film I have ever heard.
It was the most real response, because that's what I would have done.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh no, he can keep the car. We're getting the hell out of here.
He has seen movies where he's like, I'm a black dude, I'm going to die. Like he knows the horror movie rules, and he's like, no, this isn't gonna happen. Okay. So they go in there, they tell
that, not me.
So they go in there and they get Tommy, and this is where Tommy goes into Irish mob mode, and grabs
I even have written, "You're so tough, Tommy."
Right. Oh, I know. And again, like I said,
he's such a big man with a baseball bat.
The reason Marcus and Vanessa were leaving in the first place is because they saw that this shit was happening in their neighborhood, and so they wanted to get home, knowing that Michael Myers is out there and all these people have died. That's why I'm like, girl, what do you do? Marcus, what are you doing letting her go? But anyways, so they go out there. Tommy and the mob of the bartenders all go outside.
Yeah.
And, he's got old Huckleberry now. Apparently, he just stole it from the bar owner guy. It's because the bar owner makes no more appearance. And it's officially now Tommy. No. So the Irish man has taken away the black man's cool thing. So cultural appropriation.
Wow.
It's already cultural appropriation right here.
We're going there now, ladies.
I'm gonna go there. there because I would rather had Mumble Joe with the bat.
I can't. Okay, let's.
I'm gonna get you back, Mars.
Oh my God! Let's go. Let's do something.
Anyways,
else.
He goes out there. The windows are foggy in her car, but no one else's car. For some reason, the windows are foggy before she even gets in there. But obviously, that's so that you can't see who's driving the car. The car just peels off after Tommy Doyle smashes the front window with a bat. You hear it crash. No one's in the car. Which, by the way, I feel like Vanessa or Marcus would be like, this motherfucker fucked up my car. They didn't say nothing. They were just like, oh, yeah, let's find him.
Yeah.
Like, nobody's mad about this car getting jacked and fucked up. But anyways, so,
it's a moot point.
It is a moot point.
I have always wanted to use that in a sentence. And thank you, Halloween Kills.
Yes. So the driver, whom they falsely believe to be Michael, escapes unnoticed. Lonnie heads off to go pick up his son. Tommy then forms a mob of vengeful Haddonfield citizens, which becomes his job from here on out, to hunt down and kill Michael.
And which kind of turns into Halloween 4.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Again, there are a lot of sequel tropes, but B, homages and tropes of the Halloween sequels. So again, I think it's on purpose. So they go off to try to find Michael and kill him. So the police then inform Karen and Allison that Michael escaped and is still alive. And Karen decides she's not going to tell her mother, Laurie Strode, that Michael is still alive. Just like a Karen.
Yeah.
Just like a Karen.
Mm-hmm. I wonder, do you think that name was intentional?
I don't know, because the Karen didn't become popularized until like last year or the year before, really. And 2018's Halloween came out way before that. Yeah. So, and her name was already Karen. So I don't know.
I know I have it written here. I don't know at what point, but I know I wrote Judy Greer is a babe.
Oh, I've always loved Judy Greer.
Yeah. Yay or nay?
Yay, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely not a classic beauty, but different. But I dig.
There's something, about Judy Greer. Yeah, she gets me going.
And that Christmas sweater It's just that she wears through the whole.
And
movie.
and I hate Christmas.
I couldn't remember, like, because I didn't rewatch the first one, the 2018 one, so I couldn't remember why she had on a Christmas sweater, but I don't know. She wears it through the whole movie. But anyways, so she decides she's not going to tell Laurie, even to the point where her mom's like, we got him. We got the motherfucker. And she's like, yeah, we did, Mom. We got him.
Yeah.
We got him good. We got him so good.
You should have seen him, Mom. And
I'm like, Laurie, like, I know you don't have 15 movies behind you this time, but you know he don't die that easy. Like you always got to wait to see if he's dead. Like, so it was out of character. And again,
on drugs.
I know, but it felt out of character. I think because we know Laurie's full history, not this retconned history. So the full history Laurie to me is like, she knows better. She would have never just assumed he was dead. But again, this is only the second time she's faced Michael. So according to this, so. Whatever. So she thinks she's dead. That's
Michael is the most believable killer.
Right. So Allison reconciles with Cameron because Cameron shows up because he was there to get Hawkins to the hospital. And Lonnie shows up to the hospital. They decide they're going to hunt down Michael. And like Allison, the granddaughter, decides she's going to join the mob too, because she wants to avenge her dad's death, who Michael killed in the past movie.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I get that. But of course, Karen's like, no, you are going to stay here and you are going to watch your grandmother. Yeah, that works.
I don't know what. I'm so done. I'm already done with this movie.
Yeah. And then on top of that, Hawkins gets rolled into the same room as Laurie, which just seems weird to me. But sure, whatever. And they reminisce about their relationship.
And honestly, I thought, I'll be honest, I thought these were some of the best scenes in the whole film.
Sure, it just felt out of place, but yes, they were some of the best scenes. Again, here's a couple, plus we've got Lonnie and his son Cameron's the couple, but then you've got Cameron and Allison as a couple. Like, so we've got these twofer relationships. So we've got this kind of forced relationships between Hawkins and Laurie, where you learn quite a bit, where they talk about their former relationship. All the while, we go back to our small mob of Lindsay, Marion, Vanessa, and Marcus. Because they've split up at this point. Like Tommy takes a group, and then like they have another group, and they go off and they're just trying to find Michael.
Yeah.
And they go and we're totally skipping over the next relationship.
Well, Big John and
Little John, Big John, because it was only briefly.
Yeah, but I love it. And oh my God, have you seen? Because I even wrote, and I'm gonna say is Michael McDonald.
Yes,
from Mad TV.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen all of the memes?
No, I have not.
Of him as Stewart with his foot up in the air saying, "No!" And it's Michael Myers. Oh,
that's so funny. All I could think of was Stewart and a lot of his. I love this actor. I think he's a great comedian.
Yes,
and again, here's a comedian. So I'm like, okay, but the gay couple worked. I thought it was great. They were such a goofy, stupid. Campy relationship. I loved it. I loved pothead Big John. I loved that Big John was the little one and Little John was the big one.
I felt a lot. I related a lot because of our relationship.
Yes. But one thing we did miss was that Big John and Little John live in Michael Myers' old home.
Yeah, yes.
So they have the home. They are quite aware that it was Michael Myers' home. They get pranked by 3 kids. These 3 kids have the Halloween 3 masks, which is interesting. And so these 3 kids are pretty jackass kids. I mean, they're pretty much.
This is, oh my God. And I hate saying this, but Listen, I've never been one to care much for child actors. I always find them pretty irritating. But it seems within the last 4 years, or the last four, why am I saying that?
400 years.
Yeah, the last few years, they find these child actors that are just so grating. That are just so annoying.
Well, and I think that's because that's the new child actor thing. If you watch any Nickelodeon show or Disney show, it's all just annoying and grating because that's the acting style now.
I guess so. I don't know.
It's gotten carried over into mainstream film as well. But, you know, they prank them pretending one of the guys like ate a razor blade in their candy or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's just a big prank, blah, 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 just to set up Big John and Little John. But anyway, so we go back to our group, Vanessa and Marcus and the nurse and the other kid that Laurie babysat. And they see the park and they see the kids, two of the kids on the swing, and they're like, it's late. Why are these kids playing on the swing set? And they go out there and the kids are just assholes again.
Oh my God.
Absolute assholes. And then they were like, what they say, like, oh, there's this guy in a white mask that keeps playing hide and seek with us. I don't know where my other friend is at. He's somewhere.
I hate it. I hated every scene with these children in them. I'm sorry. I just did. They were awful.
Yeah.
They were just a reason. And I hate this. Because when I saw the I was getting ready to say the first Halloween, the second Halloween that was called Halloween 2018, I thought the use of the Halloween 3, I'm confusing myself. The use of the Halloween 3 mask was clever. But then just when I saw them, I thought these kids were the second film. These kids were literally put there just to have a Halloween 3 reference.
Oh yeah, that's all it was. That's all it was.
All it was.
But essentially, we find out the one kid's dead, and then they end up dead, which we find out later. Yeah. But then, like, Michael shows up and ambushes them into some crazy shit. So we get our homage to the nurse, like, because Michael jumps onto the car. They're in the car. They're back in the car. Michael jumps on the car again, just like when she was younger. She obviously, again, doesn't know how to shoot a gun. One of my favorite lines is Marcus and Vanessa. They get handed a gun at one point, and Marcus is like, I don't know what to do with this. And Vanessa's like, bitch, I've always shot guns. I know what to do with this. Give me that gun. Yeah. But yeah, like, so you got Marion just shooting the windows all over the place, yet locking the doors at the same time. I'm like, you kind of like, it don't matter. So she dies. But then, like, man,
Marion, I even wrote down Marion. She is probably, she is the only person to be killed twice in this franchise. If you remember Halloween H2O.
Yeah.
Yeah. She has been killed twice.
Yeah.
But Michael Myers is the most believable killer stuff.
Right. Yeah, but she dies. But then Marcus, man, he gets it in his eyeball. Oh, what was it? What did he get? It wasn't a knife. It was
no, it was a knife.
Was it a knife? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. That got me good. But then Vanessa, like, because Lindsay runs, but Vanessa's like just shooting the gun all excuse me, I'm already mad. She's just shooting the gun all willy-nilly, and you're already like, you know how to shoot a gun? Because Michael's just sitting in the car.
Yeah.
She can't shoot the broadside of a barn. And then she gets up closer in what I think is one of the funniest deaths in the history of horror films. Michael opens that door. It hits her hand that has the gun. The gun swings back as she shoots herself in the head.
Yeah. And I will agree. It's funny, but it was also one of the most stupid.
Oh, yeah. That's, again, this is where I was like, well, this movie is campy. It's meant to be campy. And it reminded me of, like, for where we are politically, it seemed like you wouldn't have these old school stereotypes of characters, like especially racial characters, but like her especially reminded me of so many like older Black girl characters from like the late 90s, early 2000 horror movies. Like especially like think of Kelly Rowland in Freddy versus Jason, who I love, but like Vanessa was almost identical, similar type character, right? Like acting that way, blah, 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 cocky, like just that character of that caricature type, I guess. I mean, it just seemed, it seemed out of place again. Once again, here's this out of place. I don't know. It just seemed weird to me, but.
And Stefan just went there, folks. I didn't. The man with no name, Lance Wayne, he didn't go there.
I'm just surprised it seemed out of place.
I am completely squeaky clean.
You can be squeaky clean. I'm talking about cultural shit that I feel like I thought it was kind of racist. Like I don't think they.
Me, Stefan, big tree.
Big tree. But whatever. I thought it was very stereotypical. And I didn't like that. But anyway, so Lindsay runs off. That's where she goes and she sees the kids dead and shit. And she hides underneath this scene, which seemed like identical to Lord of the Rings when the hobbits hide behind the tree. And you never watched Lord of the Rings?
I try not to.
Oh, you're such a fool. You fool of a toque. Fool of a toque.
I don't get that, but okay.
But when Bilbo and them are hiding from the ring wraiths, they jump kind of down into a ditch and go underneath the roots of a tree and hide as this thing walks by and it can't sense the hobbits. Well, this is essentially the exact same scene. She jumps, she hides, gets into the roots of the tree, and Michael Myers walks by and doesn't see her. And so you're like, oh, okay, well, I guess Lindsay's going to be all right. Because, Marion's dead. I thought the OG trio there was going to live forever.
Yeah.
Or Quadro or whatever they are. So she just hangs out and you're like, okay, so, yeah, I guess we're good. And then Allison, Cameron, and Tommy and Lonnie, the new mob, right, shows up because at this point, Allison's already told her mom, fuck you, I'm going to go do this regardless. And Tommy's like, yeah, come on, let's go mob up. And, they're driving around telling people, get back in your fucking houses. But they discover the scene. They discover the bodies of everyone in the playground. And then they find Lindsay traumatized and injured, but she's surprisingly still alive. So that's good. So let's go back to the hospital. So Tommy takes Lindsay back to the hospital while Lonnie, Cameron, and Allison look at the map and realize that it's a straight shot to bum, 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 bum. Michael's
Myers house. Oh boy.
So then you're like, well, wait, was that just where he was going the whole time and Laurie just happened to be in the way? Right? That's what you wonder, because at least in the 70 or whatever, the second original sequel, he's like, nah, I'm gonna go to the hospital and kill this hoe. Like I'm gonna yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
Okay, why? Okay, it's a straight shot. He just wants to go to the house. What does he want to take up residency there?
Yeah,
does he feel like, oh, I can refurnish it?
Now I know that the house has always been a central theme.
Yes,
I get it. Okay, for every movie, I get it. But yeah, they deduce that he's heading home. Tommy then reunites with the former Haddonfield sheriff Lee Brackett. Yes. Whose daughter Annie was killed by Michael in 1978. So Sheriff Brackett is now just a security guard at the hospital. He's just a geese. I didn't look him up to see if that was the same actor or not.
It is. It is. Yeah. Yeah. And I saw him as the. And I kind of call back to our last episode. I saw him as the Joe Biden of the film. He's there, but he's not there.
Yeah. Oh, and then, man, then you got the sheriff, man, the sheriff with the cowboy hat, the Old Town Road looking dude, and I'm just like, just give me the bounty hunter from Jason Goes to Hell Again. I'll just take it.
Oh my God. Okay, thank you. Because I even wrote down, I thought, Creighton.
Yes.
Ripoff. Yep,
Creighton Duke ripoff. And I would have much rather have had him instead of not quite Hootie and the Blowfish. So Tommy inadvertently tells Laurie that Michael's still alive. So you get a big fight between Laurie and Karen, and then asking, well, what's up with Allison? What's going on with that? But all while this horse shit is happening is Big John and Little John. We get to go back to Big John and Little John because we know
I loved Big John.
Because now we know that Michael's heading back to that house. So what's Big John and Little John doing? Well, they're smoking pot and watching TV and just hanging out. They got the charcuterie board. I mean, they are living the life, dude. I'm like, this is the life I want to live as Big John and Little John.
Well, we do. Me and you, this is how we spend
This is what our mansion is similar.
Yeah, this is what we usually do. I've heard of a lot. Ironically enough, I've heard of a lot of people. They were annoyed by Big John and Little John.
Oh yeah, dude. My buddy that I went with hated them.
I loved them. They were two of my favorite characters.
Because here's the thing, I hated Big John, but I liked him because Little John made me like him.
Yes.
Like he's an unlikable character that you like because you like Little John so much that you're like, well, he's got to be good if Little John likes him.
A lot like our relationship.
So all the while, like I said, we're seeing Little John and Big John. This stuff's happening while we're also seeing Laurie trying to leave the hospital because she's like, I have to kill him. I'm fucking Laurie. It's my job. I have to do it. Excuse me. Then I get a little mixed up here, but essentially during all this, Little John and Big John get killed. And it's a tough one. I mean, I gotta say, because you really you become part of that relationship. Like you really like those guys.
But in the end, God, I hated it when Michael McDonald, he saw Michael Myers and he said, "He finally came home."
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That completely
some cheesy
obliterated
lines.
it.
Some cheesy lines for sure. Also, Big John locking the door and then it was unlocked later on. I just wanted to throw that.
Well, and I hated, like, after he says that, you cut to his death is off screen.
Mm-hmm.
I just no.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, you find out that the driver of Vanessa's car was Lance Tivoli, who's a fellow patient at Smiths Grove Psychiatric Hospital alongside Michael and escaped when the bus crashed. He arrives at the hospital and he's just looking in the window.
Yeah.
At this point, there's already a mob of people because all these people had died at this point, and people are trying to figure out because all the firefighters have dead. There's people in the neighborhoods that are dead. Like there's just all this people that are dead. So there's a lot of people there. And
evil dies tonight.
Evil dies tonight. Karen is trying to become hero here because Tommy has gotten his mob mentality out of control because the sheriff, who's not quite Creighton here, not quite Hootie and the Blowfish, can't keep shit together. And like Tommy just literally says, we are going to find Michael and we're going to kill him. And he looks right at the sheriff when he says it and says, I am going to kill a man and you're going to let me do it. And we're all as a mob are going to do this together. And this is where like they almost insinuate that this has always happened in Haddonfield. This is where it's almost like they didn't retcon the rest of the sequels because it almost seems like Haddonfield's had to deal with this for 40 years and we're going to take our town back. But it only happened, in 1978. So how did it always happen over the time? I don't know. It's kind of like if you ever watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer and like the last season, the town is like, no, Buffy, we know that you've been helping us. We know this. We've always been there. We're going to fight for you. Like that was what this kind of felt like, except for there's no 40-year history because nothing happened in that 40 years.
Yeah, well, see, I thought it was kind of making. I watched this twice. I watched it once, and I wrote my initial thoughts down, and then I thought, well, I need to watch it again. And I thought it. Correct me if I'm wrong. I thought it really was making a commentary on the whole mob mentality.
Agreed. There is for sure this, and it's even said because Brackett says it here later that who's the real monsters here? It looks like the people are the monsters, right? So yes, there's absolutely social commentary, especially with what's going on in politics and in America and all that shit. That's definitely there. But yeah, Tommy basically gets the mob together and saying they're going to kill Michael. They see this guy, what's his name? Lance Tivoli. He's got long relation. Hair. Which, come on, guys, you guys have already seen Michael. You know that the man is fucking 6'8".
Oh my god,
this guy just basically looks like John Carpenter ate too much. Like, as who this guy looks like. Super short.
That's why you're the best.
Like, there's no way that this guy's Mike Myers. Like, I wouldn't even have thought it because I'm like, this guy's too little. He's a little too wide. Yeah. Like, and he's wearing different clothes. Like, and why is he gonna bang on the window saying "help me"? Like, come on. But whatever. I understand mob mentality. I get it. Evil dies tonight. Evil dies tonight. And
evil dies tonight. Okay.
And so they mob up, and they're just running over each other, and people are getting trampled, like, because it's a small ass little room, and I guess it's just commentary. Again, it's whatever. So they're like going after this dude who stupidly goes into the hospital. Well, Karen realizes, oh shit, this isn't Michael Myers. Once she sees him, she's trying to tell everybody, but nobody's listening to her because she's wearing a fucking Christmas sweater.
Yeah. I wouldn't listen to anybody in the Christmas sweater.
I wouldn't. Yeah. So she goes and she does the oddest thing. How she decides to help this guy is by trapping him.
Yes.
I was super confused by this. Like, she puts him in between a hallway that has two sets of doors, one on either end, where the mob's coming onto both sides. She says, I'm going to stay out here. You lock yourself in.
I thought the exact same thing.
I didn't understand it in the least. Now, if she was like, go hide in one of these rooms and we can act like these doors had never been opened, like that would have worked. But no, she's like, just stand here in the hallway and I'm not even going to tell people that you're not him. And she just stands there as people start banging on the door, trying to bash their way through, trying to get in to get this guy. This guy looks over, like, he grabs the fucking fire extinguisher. I think he's going to fight back, but no, he just busts the window and then decides to kill himself by jumping out the window, which everyone just moved out the way instead of trying to catch him, which here's a group of people. They could have caught him and saved his life. They all just moved out of the way. Splat. He gone. And that was gruesome too. Ooh, they showed that.
Yeah. Well, that's just the human condition, though.
Right. And that's
you see something falling from the sky, you're gonna move out of the way.
Sure. But I mean, they had enough prep time to know that he was jumping. It wasn't like it was like, oh, there he is.
I don't know.
I think so, but regardless, Brackett then says, at this point, he says the mob is turning into the monsters from their fear and panic. This is where, blah blah. Laurie, which by the way ripped her fucking stitch trying to go after fake Michael here, which, oh god, if she ripped her stitch, dude, like, what's her fucking guts are coming out, like, she's just crazy. But she urges Karen to work with Tommy and that they all need, because she can't do anything. Like, she ripped her fucking stitch, so she cannot go after Michael. So she's like, Karen, bitch, this is your job because we're retconned here. Michael tried to kill me and my friends, and I survived, so it's my job, and you're my daughter, so it's your job. Again, taking away the sister thing loses the motivation, in my opinion, but...
Same here. No, I agree. I
mean, whatever. She could have been fucking Danielle Harris's character. It's whatever. Karen, you know. So, but I did like bringing Tommy back. I thought that was cool. So they decided to go hunt down Michael. So Lonnie, you know, of course, is with Allison and Cameron at this point because they're like, oh, I bet you I know where this motherfucker's going to go. Remember the map. So they're just going to go without calling anybody. They don't tell anybody. So they get to the house and, you know, Lonnie's like, I'm going to go inside and take care of this. You guys stay in the car. Yeah, sure. Your teenage kids are going to agree with that, especially when you go in, the door's unlocked, which, by the way, Big John locked the door. Like, I was kind of confused that was unlocked. Yeah, unless Michael unlocked it. We're back to critical thinking, Michael. I'm not sure.
I have no idea. I want to go to bed.
But Lonnie goes in there. You know, they hear gunshots. You don't see what happened. Allison and Cameron run inside. They find the bodies of Big John, Little John, and Lonnie. So Lonnie's killed off screen.
I did think that was a really unnerving scene, though. How he posed them.
Oh yeah, he posed them like the photo. The photo. Yeah. Again, critical thinking, Michael, which was strange. Yeah. But yeah, and then of course, again, Lonnie's whatever. So then they get attacked by Michael. Michael throws Allison down the freaking steps. She breaks her leg, and then just brutally beats the shit out of Cameron. One of my favorite scenes was how brutal this was. I mean, she's like, he's at the top of the stairs, shoves his head through the banister or through the guardrail there or whatever the fuck it is, and just is slamming his fucking head, all while his eyes are staring at Allison. And I'm like, oh my God, she's screaming like, let him go. And she can't move because her legs broke or whatever. Yeah. And just smashes this motherfucker. And then because she's like, come get me, you fucking cocksucker, son of a bitch, or whatever she fucking says. And so
she calls Michael Myers a cocksucker. Yeah.
And comes downstairs, but as he passes, he notices that Cameron's still alive and just fucking rings his fucking head, dude. Oh, it was glorious. It was a beautiful fucking moment. Absolutely phenomenal. Now, did Michael kill children before in any of the other films? Like children, not teenagers?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. So it was weird that he killed those kids in the park. I was just thinking about that because like Jason's thing was always, oh, you don't kill kids, only the teenagers not looking after the kids, you know? So,
well, I remember there being a big fuss with, during the release of the 2018 version, because remember that it's that long shot and he goes and he kills a couple of people.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the crying baby. And people were upset that Michael Myers didn't kill a baby.
Yeah, I don't know. The thing is, like, we don't know anything about him because it's Mike Myers. So we don't know. Is he?
I just thought it was fucked up because it was like, I just thought of all these people that like, you want to see a scene in a film where
no, I think it's just that if you're gonna push him as pure evil would kill a baby, right? So are you trying to give him humanity? Like that's the thing you try to wonder. Because Jason, one of the things I love about Jason still in some twisted fucking way has his humanity, you know, like because he's doing it to please his mother or to revenge on his mother, blah blah blah.
They have a code. That's the thing.
Yeah,
with
Michael.
The other slashers, they all have a code.
Yeah.
Jason, Freddy, you know.
Yeah.
Freddy, it's kind of light, but he has somewhat of a code because his biggest thing is about revenge.
Yeah. I mean, Leatherface would kill a baby. It's veal.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think Leatherface.
But I don't know. I'm just joking.
Yeah.
No, they would raise him and make him a cannibal.
Yeah.
Anyways, move on from this. We don't need to talk about this unless you got something to say.
Well, I was gonna say something about Chucky. that character is constantly evolving because of the series. Yeah. So move on.
Moving on. Anyway, so you think Allison's about to get killed by Michael when Karen shows up and stabs Michael with the pitchfork that was in the Halloween decorations of Big John and Little John. So that was kind of a cool scene. I did like that. She then steals his mask and taunts him to follow her, which is a really weird scene because we see Michael Myers different than we've really seen him. Like, he legit just looks like an old guy. Like, he's balding on top. You don't really see because it's shadowed. They don't want you to see his face, but I mean, you see enough of it and you can see that he's bald on top. Like, it was weird.
It shows just how much of the mask personifies him for sure. Yeah.
Okay. So she lures Michael into the path of Tommy's mob. So Tommy's got a mob again. He just keeps finding them. He just keeps getting these mobs.
Wish I could find a mob.
Like, his mask is just sitting there. This is where he gets encircled for the third time. He's encircled by a mob for the third and final time. And you wonder what's going to happen, but he picks up his mask and he puts it on. And then you're like, oh shit, y'all about to get fucked up. But he gets the shit kicked out of him, essentially. He's just gets fucking pummeled and seemingly killed by the mob, with the last final blow being by Karen. She stabs him in the back.
Yep.
And then just walks away. Again, I'm like, he was in a burning building in a sealed fucking basement, and you think that your fucking knife in the back of him is okay? You're going to walk away and say you got him? But whatever. I would have cut his fucking head off, but that's me.
Yeah, same here. I would have taken a chainsaw to that fucker.
Okay,
Lord.
Like, she had the opportunity and she wasted it. She just stabs him in the fucking back, hitting no fucking major organs. Like, what are you doing here? Like, in his shoulder blade. Oh, good job. It's like in Friday the 13th Part 2 when she fucking just puts the machete in Jason's shoulder. You're like, oh yeah, that killed him. Oh yeah, look out.
Yeah.
But anyways, so we're back at the Myers house. We got Allison's there. She's getting medical attention. And Karen, or we've got Laurie. Laurie begins her monologue.
Yeah.
Right. This is where Laurie begins her monologue. Like, she's talking, I guess, to Hawkins about is he pure evil? We don't know. She's under the assumption that he's dead at this point, though. She knows he ain't dead. She begins to talk about how he's basically like the Hulk. The more you fuck with him, the stronger he gets.
Yep.
We see Michael stand up and then single-handedly beat the fucking death out of pretty much everyone.
Everyone. Yeah.
Pretty remarkable scene. Which I knew he wasn't going to die because, we've got Halloween ends.
Yeah, we got it. Yeah.
But I didn't know if it was going to be the whole, he dies here. How does he come back? Right.
Yeah.
They were like, no. And Laurie's monologue insinuates this, that he is pure evil. So she's essentially become Dr. Loomis, is essentially what she's done. Is she's become Loomis's character. Instead of becoming Michael's fucking sister, she's become Dr. Loomis.
Yeah.
Is, in my opinion. So during all this, while Michael's killing everyone, Karen goes back up into the house, and you're like, why? Why is she going in the fucking house? She's just like going to go look at shit. So she's just wandering around looking at dead bodies and blood everywhere. And we go back to the fucking bedroom window, because at this point, Hawkins has already said, oh, it's my fault. I'm the reason that Laurie, this isn't your fault. I did this, because we go back to the window scene and all that shit. And that's where you see him. Loomis tries to kill him, but Hawkins saves his life, blah, blah. So we're back at the fucking window. Karen's there because Hawkins had said, was he looking out into Haddonfield? Why was he always looking out in that window? Like, even when he was a kid, when he was friends with him, when he was a kid, his partner had said, oh, Michael was always looking out the window. Well, you come to find out he was looking at his own reflection. So you got Karen there looking. She sees her own fucking reflection. Boom! Michael just appears out of fucking nowhere. Don't know how he got in there with all the fucking cops and EMTs out front. Not sure, but stabs her to death. She gone. Karen's gone in the weirdest, useless death ever. I thought she was gonna turn into Michael or something. I didn't know what the fuck was gonna happen.
I thought this was so dumb. I thought if they,
what was your thought?
Well, if the monologue, if they had just cut it with the monologue of Laurie Strode and had Michael come back and kill the mob or whatever, and just end it there.
Yeah, because I mean, again, without them making Laurie Michael's sister, I guess, are they trying to give her more motivation to kill him in the next movie? Is the only thing I can think of. But yeah, Laurie stares out the hospital room window where Michael stares out his window, seeing his reflection fade to black. That's our movie.
Yeah, I guess they're yin and yang. I don't know.
To a lot of people, Halloween Kills was Halloween Kills this franchise.
Not as long as the Mustafa Okada
I know.
family.
Yep. But again, like I said, I had fun with it once I realized it was going to be campy. Plus, it's horror. I don't ever expect fucking Shakespeare.
That's sad. In a way.
Yeah.
It is really sad.
So, but it is still out. It is still in theaters, still on Peacock for another couple of weeks.
The cock.
Critical response has been mixed. Like we said, even our polls have been mixed. Some people, it was like you either loved it or you hated it. Even though I think both of us are kind of in between. We're like, oh, yeah.
It is what it is.
It felt like an obvious sequel that was intending to have a follow-up. Like how Back to the Future 2 ended. Like you were like, ugh, it ended this way because we have to set up for the sequel.
I think personally, and I love Halloween 2. We stated that earlier. I feel like it made the same mistakes that Halloween 2 made, where Halloween, like I said earlier, it's a classic. It defined a genre, whatever. Halloween 2 was just sort of a straight up slasher. I think Halloween Kills just sort of did the same thing. Yeah,
and honestly, I think the reason people even let some of it slide is because they know that there's a third one coming. It even says, Halloween Ends was announced alongside Halloween Kills, so they were announced at the same time. And one thing that I've read about Halloween Ends is that it's going to take place in 2022, so it's going to take place 4 years later, because both of the Halloween and Halloween Kills take place in 2018.
Yeah.
So it's going to take place 4 years later, and it's going to address the COVID-19 pandemic. And it says it's going to be a coming of age story. So I'm guessing maybe Allison's going to have more of a role.
Oh my God.
And they say it's going to be a more intimate movie where some of the characters have processed the insanity of the massacre of 2018. Yet they've also processed the world as it's spun so wildly over the last few years because of the pandemic. So it'll be interesting. What if he just gets COVID and that's how he dies?
This is what pisses me off with the Halloween franchise and the uber fans of the Halloween franchise. Okay. And it's like I said earlier, you have these fans that they say, I like Michael Myers because he's so much more believable. Then you have these fans that are a lot like the Jason fans. They're like, I just like Michael because he fucking kills people. Neither of these fandoms are going to be happy when you mix it.
No.
Neither of them. Because, and I'll fully agree, when you take the character of Michael Myers into the supernatural, it's fucking stupid. they did it in the original series. Mm-hmm. The whole Cult of Thorn.
Yeah, the whole Cult of Thorn, yeah.
It was fucking dumb. I don't know. I just think it's crazy, this whole... Because Friday the 13th fans, they're just like, we just want to see Jason kill some motherfuckers.
Yep.
We don't care how. We don't care why. Send the motherfucker to space. We do not care. You know what I mean? They don't care. Freddy, I'm a huge Freddy fan. Mm-hmm. You know, it just, and yeah, I do believe Freddy has a bit more substance.
Sure. Because he can talk and have relationships and...
Exactly. But, you know, Freddy, you know, it exists in the realm of dreams. It can be surreal, you know. It can go places that the normal slasher can't.
Yeah. Agreed. So essentially, at the end of the day, my opinion is check out the movie. It's worth it because I think it's going to set up Halloween Ends, which I think will be a completely different beast. Obviously, same writer and director, and these two movies were completely different beasts. But I think you'd be okay skipping it at the theater. I think you'd be okay just watching it on the cock. Because I saw it in the theater and it didn't do anything for me. I didn't know. Yeah, because my friends and I went, and so it's like the scares.
You have friends. Have friends.
Well, I did until I mitered them.
Mited.
Yep, mitered them. Humana. But yeah, it's like the kills were because it got so kind of campy. I didn't get scared, so there was no reason to be in the theater. You can watch it on the Peacock and be okay, in my opinion. But I still liked it. It was fun, campy. Just go into it knowing it is nothing like 2018's Halloween.
Nothing.
It's
a straight up slasher.
It just
is. It's just a reason for Michael.
All right. Well, that's it. Look, we're done. Okay. Yeah. Halloween killed Lance. Halloween killed Lance. On to the special. So, and with that, dear friends, we come to the end of the Misters of the Dark Halloween Kills Halloween special, and also kills Lance, apparently. As always, thank you for listening, and thank you to the Fearscape Media Network.
That's right, Stefan.
Good to have you back, Lance. Now, dear friends, this is the moment we have all been waiting for, legit, okay? We would like to introduce to you the boogeyman himself, Mr. Michael Audrey Myers. Lance, please tell me that he is here. The crowd is getting restless.
Well, I called, but Mike said he was already booked.
He's a serial killer. Who the hell would book him?
Mall opening.
Oh my God. Even the comedian Mike Myers can't even get a job right now. Oh, whatever. That's it. I'm done, Lance. We're done. That's it for us tonight, dear friends. Get out of here. Go. Before we go, I'm going to leave you with this. Sorry, no refunds. Good night.
That's right, Stefan.
Oh shit, just shut up, you idiot. Run!
And thank you for joining us for the Misters of the Dark Halloween Kills Halloween Special.